How's it going, everyone? John here with... Let's do it again. How do we start an Andertons video? It's been so long.
I'll kick it off.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to Andertons TV. I'm Ben and I am joined by...
Digital John.
Digital John.
I'm back. Hello.
Digital John is back to do many digital things with us today.
Including this, the Nano Cortex. Many of you have probably seen this. This came out about a year ago now. It's obviously a product by Neural DSP. And this is the kind of baby entry unit into the Cortex lineup. Still a very powerful bit of kit. You know, it's very small and it does kind of look like a QC, but obviously there's no touchscreen. But here we have a phone. So you'll get a screen recording of everything I'm doing on here. But the phone is kind of an integral element to this product. Not that you need to use it, but in this video we will be. Yeah, the big news here is Nano S 2.0. So this transforms Nano Cortex from what was an already pretty powerful unit into something that's even more powerful. So before it was seen as a capture device where you can capture amps, which is incredible in itself, you know, for just under around, well, 500-600 quid. I can't remember what the price is off the top of my head at Andertons TV, links in the description. That's great. You can capture any amp you want and pedals, you know, all sorts of stuff. But it's also an interface, and now it's got an extended signal chain. So you can have overdrives, compressors, wet effects, modulations, delays, reverbs, and use all of the above that I've just said. So it's a really powerful bit of kit for, I think, under £600.
Yeah.
So,
we've got links below, so let's head on to the Andertons website and check that out.
And importantly, it sounds great. So I've just got a Strat here. You know, everyone knows how a Strat on the neck sounds.
That sounds great.
Feels like, you know, through these Jennies in the room, it feels amazing. And on headphones, like I travel with one of these all the time because, you know, a QC is a bit bigger and this can just go in like, honestly, like a little toiletry bag. That's how I carry mine around. And then obviously I travel with a laptop quite a lot of the time. I like to make music. And this can be powered by your laptop, which is bonkers to me. It's like a USB-C. Yeah. And you don't need a power for it. Obviously, we're powering it off a power supply here, but it can just be powered from your laptop, and then you can make music anywhere, in theory, like on a mountain. If you've got a laptop, just plug this into your laptop, make a tune, and play guitar. And upon Nano's release, you know, people thought, oh, it's not QC, it can't do all the things that we wanted in QC, even though it's a smaller product. But now, this is a lot more powerful than people, you know, initially thought Nano was. Obviously this update has added a lot, but it's now like almost, you know, it is a multi-effects unit. It can be an entire rig. I take one of these away to gigs with me as well, even though, you know, I use a QC as my main bit of kit, Quad Cortex, for those who aren't familiar. But this is a really great backup and just thing to, you know, play in the dressing room on tours and stuff. It's got 4 presets that are easily accessible. You can see them switching on the app. You can use it for guitar and bass and whatever else you can plug in. And it's great. It's a really nifty bit of kit. So I think I'll go through the signal chain on the app. So this will all be on screen. It's recording from my phone here. It's dead easy to connect, by the way, just Bluetooth. As you'll see, sorry Ben, I'll show you as well. You can go through the presets and you can select these, and as you'll see on Nano, presets change in real time with all your effects. And as you scroll down, this is essentially your signal flow. And well, it's more your signal chain. So you've got your neural capture, and Nano Cortex has captures, not amp models. That's a crucial thing to note. Captures are still amazing sounding. Like some would say, they're even more accurate sounding.
I think it's worth pointing out that that's all free on the cloud as well. You're not having to buy any of this stuff either. So if someone's gone and
captured a Dumble.
Yeah, like let's be honest, we all want a Dumble.
Yeah. And there's clones on there, like so. On the tab at the bottom, you can just select the search, the little, what's it called, magnifying glass. And these are all ones that I've downloaded from the cloud. You can search whatever you want. It's guaranteed to be a capture of it. I can just say that now. And stuff that you wouldn't think could be captured is captured, like, you know, desk preamps. So you can put preamp distortion on stuff. Really, really cool. Anyway, cool. So all your captures, and you've got banks of captures, and they're accessible, again, on the device. At the minute, I'm just in a Brit, you know, JCM 800 kind of sound. And then your cabs, so your IR section at the minute, going through a 4x12 Marshall style cab. And you can go in, adjust the mics, the position that they are on the speaker cone, change the EQ, high and low pass, the level of the cab, phase. And say if, oh no, I just want to, you know, go and revert my settings, you just change the preset and it records all your settings. So you can tweak and it's not gonna, you know, mess stuff up. Then you get to your effects. So this is where the bulk of this update is really. You've got an input gate. This was on one of the pre-effect slots, and now that's just by nature in the signal chain that is not taking up any of the kind of pre or post effect slots. So that's now part of the unit, but it's not, you know.
Seems like a small change, but I think actually to a lot
Huge,
of
yeah.
a lot of musicians, I know Pete is the biggest fan of a noise gate. It's his one push pedal. I'm joking, he hates it.
I love a noise gate myself.
Yeah,
gotta
again,
say,
like,
sorry Pete, but I do.
I'm a modern player, I use one, but I think if you're, it's a massive difference having that one extra pre-block.
Yeah.
You know, you could have two different overdrives in there, you know, your lower and your higher sort of gain one, whereas if it's taken up by a noise gate that you don't actually need, it's pretty redundant. So I think that's a massive, massive pro in this update.
And that's just tweakable by, you know, severity with this slider here, the fader. I usually like it at around 30%. I mean, I'm a mid-gain kind of player and it's not choking it. Still hear the amp start to fizzle in at the back without it sounding like it's just nipping it. Still really dynamic in it, you know, for me at least. A digital native. Feels like an amp probably does.
I love doing these videos. It's a free guitar lesson for me. This is great.
So you can bypass that if you want. The first one, we have two pre-effect slots, by the way. In this preset, I've set it up where the first one is transposed. This is one of the best features of the Cortex range, in my opinion, on all neural products, the plugins as well. Sorry, I'm doing the sell, but you know, I'm biased.
To be fair, I'm not a neural user. I tend to use other multi-effects units, but on the plugins, the transpose is absolutely unreal. And it's the one thing that on the hardware that I use, it misses massively.
Yeah, it's good fun. And so just for those who aren't aware, if I turn this on, I could set semitones to, let's do -2. And this is my guitar in standard tuning, as it is. And then it's in D standard. And it's just feels great. That saves having another guitar.
The tracking's great. I mean, obviously you won't hear the audio, but I can hear the attack of John playing acoustically versus what's coming out the Genelex there.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't notice in terms of like latency or anything like that, I think.
And on a gig, like I have multiple, well, I now write with tuning, not even a thought. Like quite a lot of players now who are kind of hip to this kind of thing, like especially on Quad Cortex where you can have different scenes of different transposes and even presets on Nano now. Say if you wanted a verse in D standard and then the chorus lead in, you know, a different tuning, you could just pop it on and it's like, it's tuning is just now not a concept people think about.
No.
It's like, it's easy. So anyway, that's transpose, but you can change this to anything. So this is the flexible thing about the new update, because before it was like a fixed signal chain. Now it's kind of modular. You can change things around to a degree. So we can maybe make this first pre-effect slot anything from like a utility EQ. So you could have another gate if you wanted, you know, doing super tight, gent, aggressive stuff. You could have two gates there.
They added that for Pete.
Yeah, that's for you, Pete. You know, an EQ, if you want to roll off some low end, maybe you got a 7-string, which this isn't, and you want to roll off some of that super low end before you maybe hit an overdrive. That's a really cool feature. Volume pedal, you know, you can get an expression in this. Loads of stuff you can do there. And then you've got wahs and filters. So
they've added a load of new wahs to this as well.
Yes, that's correct. So we've got some crying Clyde, crying wah. You can kind of bass, but you can guess what these are based on. Sorry, bass wah. This I mentioned. This is great for bass. The envelope filter is really nice. It's super like vowely and really fun. So yeah, you got some filters. You got overdrives next. Loads of overdrives, guitar and bass overdrives. I don't know. That's
been one of the biggest I think, platforms they've updated. Between that and the modulation effects, there's so many different drives on here now, and again, capture drives as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if there is something missing drive-wise, you can bet that it's going to be in the cloud there somewhere as well.
And these are all your like big hitters. So you've got, you know, Tube Screamer, Fuzz Face, Exotics. You got some Boss stuff in there, and you know your main overdrive flavors. And most overdrives kind of sound this. Sorry, but I'm not going to say that. But you know, you can get an overdrive tone.
You're
going
to upset a lot of people.
Yeah, I've already done it. So yeah, and of course you can download any overdrive capture on the internet through the cloud. So And use your own. Like, this can still be on a board, right? So if you have it on a board, you could use this as maybe just like a overdrive bit of kit, and then you've got loads of other overdrive pedals with other captures. Anyway, it's really flexible now is what I'm saying. So overdrives, then you've got compressors. Loads of people wanted compressors. I love compressors, just to kind of even out my crap technique and just make everything nice and even. So maybe let's put an opto comp on, and you've got all these settings, right? So just like Quad Cortex, where you could really go in if you wanted to, you can do that on Nano through the app. So that's made it quite hot. Oh, I've also rolled my tone down. So now let's add the compression. You'll hear there, gives it a bit of a boost and more sustain. So that could be like a lead boost if you wanted to. So. So it just gives it a bit of oomph, and obviously evens out your sound. I'm not really on a Nile Rodgers-y tone right now, but I would, play that sort of stuff
very
usually.
Nile. It's worth pointing out on that first block of pre-effects there, though, with the transpose, that is only accessible within that first block. So if you're thinking for some unknown reason that you want to have a drive before you transpose, that transpose is only available on the first block.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, you've got many presets and sort of banks available in there, so you could have it. So your first one is maybe in like D standard or whatever tuning, and then have your second one without any transpose, maybe some form of modulation or an extra bit of compression drive, whatever.
Right, yeah. And there are common practices, like usually the transpose block is going to sound best first.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, then obviously you got compression, and then you got pitch effect, so transpose is in that. And then if you went into pre-effect slot 2, you've got what's available in pre-effect slot 2. You'll see here, we've got utility EQ, wah filter, overdrive, and compression.
But no transpose.
Yeah, because that's only available in pre-effect slot 1. So, then you've got all the post effects. So, we've added more modulations, so more chorus flavors. We've got this Chief CE2, kind of like a boss vibe with all the different modes. My favorite mode. Tell you what, I'm just going to make a quick tone change here. I'm just going to get a clean sound. Actually, Clean My Dreams. I think this is a preset in your Nano, if you own one. Sounds lovely. I love how the presets in this just work. So on this sound, that Chief, you got a chorus 229T. For those who like the chorus units, you can guess what that's based on. Just super sparkly and 80s. That's a really nice model, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that one. Dream Chorus, John Petrucci's Dreamscape Chorus in stereo. So these are stereo effects as well. We're running out stereo. And you got 2 different modes on there. Speed. This is a very vivid chorus sound, I think. What's Dream Theater-y? Let's do more depth on that. So I've got
probably the most underrated Dream Theater song, I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah, it's the best, it's the coolest, like, sorry, we're going on about Dream Theater now. Yeah, really, really great modulation effects here, and I should add as well, these are the same quality, resolution, whatever you want to measure it by as the Quad Cortex. These are the same effects and, captures. They're going to sound the same whether it's on Quad Cortex or on Nano. So if you want the quality of sounds that are on Quad Cortex, maybe your budget can't stretch to that, you can get the captures on here and the overdrives as well.
I think it's worth saying as well that a lot of people might not necessarily be put off by a Quad Cortex, but hesitant because they don't need all the stuff that's on there. And it's a little bit overkill, whereas something like this, yes, the technology, a lot of it is within the app, but if you think about how the signal chain's laid out and what's available, it's a really basic kind of setup. You know, like you could turn up on like a rock covers gig or something where maybe it isn't easy to cram a 100-watt Marshall and a 412 into a pub anymore, but you turn up with one of these and you've got a basic, 80s rock sound, a good lead sound, a dreamy 80s chorus clean, and it's all in that for £1,000 less than its big brother.
It's hilarious, really, if you price up the kit that's in this for what you can get.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's post effect slot 1, and again, you can change that to utility EQ, compression, and then other modulation effects. And then you've got your final 2 post effect slots. So usually you'd go delay into reverb. That's how this is set out. So we've got some more delays. Analog delay, everyone's heard analogs and digitals and tapes at this point, but circular delay is cool. Excuse me. Where if you imagine kind of like a thing revolving round, that's how this sounds. So if I just up the mix of this a bit, we've got different modes. Let's do the speed, let's turn the speed down a bit. Feedback, delay time.
And again, we're using a lot of stereo effects, particularly with the delay here. So if you're listening on a phone, you're probably not going to get that widespread. So definitely have a listen through a set of speakers if you've got them, or just pop your headphones on. You'll actually really get a feel for how quality these sounds are.
On a phone, this may sound a bit weird in mono, but it's kind of got an interesting volume and EQ thing to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it's fun. So inspiring. I've played through this so much and I still enjoy it. So that's circular delay. There's tons of other ones that you can choose from. Everyone loves a good digital delay, nice and bright. Do the dotted 8 thing, tape delay, really nice and warm. And then onto the reverbs. So we just had the Mind Hall previously, but now we've got ambience, cave hall, modulated and room. Modulated is my favorite reverb of all the neural stuff, so I'm so glad.
How happy he is.
I'm so glad. I just love putting modulation on everything, like to an obnoxious degree. So like, it's kind of got a bit of pitch variation on it. Let's up the decay, up the mix, roll some of the lows and highs off it. It's just great. It feels like home to me. That's on most of my neural presets at this point. You can go through them really easily with the arrows. Forgot to say that. Just audition kind of different sounds. Now we're going through different types of devices like compressors and stuff. And maybe you could put a compressor last, and that would, if you think about this, have all your delays going on right, and then when you duck the compression, stop playing and essentially duck what you're doing, the compression will bring all those delay tails up in theory. So so it's almost like someone's riding your delay. I mean, I've just thrown on whatever the default settings are there, but can be really creative and useful in that way. So that's the signal chain rundown. Anyway, so some more sounds. I can remember we were at South by Southwest and we were showing some people Nano Cortex, and I was like, yeah, you can kind of do a bass with it. So that's why this is called bass sorter. We actually have a bass, but this is using the transpose and knocking it down, I think, an octave.
That sounds great. Even like the attack, and how flubby it is, that's brilliant.
It's great. Yeah, it's great. So that's bass sorter anyway. And we also did a capture. We went into some nice Texan guitar shop. Forgotten what it's called. I would shout you guys out because it's amazing. And we captured a Lightspeed. Who's it by? Greer amps. Yeah. We captured a Lightspeed. Great little pedal. And typically you wouldn't put a pedal into a cabinet, but this was just for the sake of showing that you could capture a pedal. And we did it there and then on the booth, just a couple of leads and a pedal, did the job. And it actually sounds all right. So if we ramp up the gain, and by the way, captures are dynamic, so you can add gain even though it's captured a sound. So this is adding gain from that Lightspeed. Maybe bring it back. That's a bit Mayery, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's just
it really
for the
is.
sake of all the Mayer fans on the internet, which I am one of. I think it's actually in standard, but I'm just enjoying it half the time right now. Whatever it is. He definitely didn't have that much delay on. But
no.
Yeah, so that was just a light speed capture, and you've got loads of presets that you could store. You have 4 on tap with the pedals, as shown by the purple and yellow. So 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. But you can save all these, right? And these mostly come with the unit, but I've got some that I've made and done for videos and various things. So here's like a Vox AC30 capture.
Quite bright.
Mega bright, yeah. Probably dialed that in with a Les Paul or something. Tell you what, this is time for you to play. So,
Right.
So what I'm going to do, give you a... Oh, there we go.
I've changed tuning.
Yeah. So this is a Marshall JT50.
It's nice, very fast. A lot of reverb, but
Yeah, do you know what? I'll bring those down a bit. So easy, I'll just bypass it.
it's nice, spongy.
Yeah.
G.
So I just added a quick tube screamer there every time. Nice.
It's nice.
Let's try a BC30. How did you get that D sharp harmonic? Oh, I've never used that one. Nice.
I taught John something.
Learn something. Yeah, I'm totally going to use that. Right, so this is the Metzer Barber, pretty sure. Let's drop that thing. So -9 semitones for. Nice.
My best Mike Stringer impression.
Yeah.
On a Les Paul.
So, as you probably just saw, I could go through all the banks there of captures that I've loaded onto the device. When you download them from the cloud, you can, I'll just pick this one from Tone Junkie. That's going to be a Soldano SLO overdrive. You can assign it to a capture slot of your 5 banks. That's these 5 banks, of which you have 5 capture slots. And then that's how you can access them. But I've saved them already. And you can also do that with captures and presets. So you've got tons of scope to have sounds saved. Next thing I want to do is just show bass. You want to play some bass?
I will attempt to.
All right.
I am no bassist.
Neither am I, but I've got the phone. So there you
Right.
go.
Oh my goodness.
For the bassists out there, you are not left alone. Yeah,
Transposes on.
Let's go for, so this is a Marshall bass amp, I think.
Okay.
So there, that was from a preset that didn't have the compressor before, but now I could just add a compressor. So if I just play a bit without the compressor. Yeah, so it can be used to just tame those transients, especially on bass, because it's a very lively instrument, especially if you're hitting pickups and stuff like that. Another bass preset, so someone did a capture of the Adam pedal, where is it? In my presets. So that is here.
Nice. It's a nice modern attack on that.
And just so you can hear what the gate's doing, this is without a gate. So it's cleaning up quite a bit of noise.
Yeah.
And if you just do, I don't know, type gently. Nice and tight. And I could add another gate if I wanted to as well, and increase that one. So really flexible. Let's just do one more bass tone. Let's have a look at B7K. So this is dark glass B7K, but clean apparently, so a bit more tame. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I cover this preset. I made it for a video, like kind of solo bass tone.
Big, like Justin Chancellor vibes.
Yeah. Again, everything's got modulation on it. So
nice.
it's great fun, you know, you can do, and this is just guitar and bass. Anything that you can plug into it, you can add these effects to. You know, you don't even have to have amps on it. You could just use it as an effects unit for whatever you want. So it's a really flexible bit of kit. Not that it wasn't before, but it's even more so now. And yeah.
Again, let's just point out here that this is easily sub £1,000 as well.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking the full fat version is at least £1,000 more. I think they're about £1,500 now, around that price point.
With the same quality of sound, by the way.
Yeah.
No compromise on that. It's just like, you know, the accessibility and features that aren't in this that would be in something higher. So, and the form factor, you know, you're paying less for something that's more portable. Think of it that way.
Easily fits on a board, like something like, you get like a little pedal tray Nano, stick a mini expression pedal on there, or even if you don't need just like a mini wah, or just turn up with that.
Yeah. I mean, you can easily do a gig with one sound, just with a volume control, but you've got 4 different sounds of each, you know, that could be for bass and guitar, different tunings and all the rest of it.
And then banks within that as well.
Yeah.
Pretty thorough run through there, but like I say, I mean, that's really scratching the surface of it. You know, when you think about how many captures are available on the cloud as well, of different amps, drive pedals as well.
That's constantly being updated, by the way. Like, there are more captures every day. We do collections of captures. We, you know, often champion the best presets, and, you know, famous artists that use our stuff, they have their entire rigs as, you know, captures that you can download, which is wild nowadays. And you can have that sound in this little box now as well.
This is probably the tip of the iceberg. You think how many updates have come out on the Quad Cortex since its release, and like I say, I think this has been out only about 6 months, and I don't even think it's been out a full year yet.
No, it came out in the summer last year. I remember it was hot. That's all I can remember. I think that's all. Anyway, we'll probably have some playing outro for this maybe.
Some nice lady bits, I reckon.
Appreciate your time, Ben.
No,
thank you
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, we've got links below, so maybe we'll put some stuff in there for other neural products that we've got online as well, but definitely the Nano Cortex. Check it out, make sure you do the new update.
Yeah. and go and play guitar on a mountain.
Yeah,
somewhere.
do it. I think that's what we should take from this video.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can play on a mountain now. So with that in mind, we'll see you next time.
See you in a bit.
Thank you.